A disturbing case from Bengaluru that highlights the misuse of public transport spaces and also social media to violate women's privacy. An Instagram account, Metro Chicks, secretly filmed women on Namma Metro in Bengaluru Metro without their consent and posted their videos with voyeuristic captions. Now, the account gained hundreds of followers before public outcry on social media led to police action. Now, these are largely pictures of women traveling to work, looking at their phones, listening to music, sometimes even staring outside, texting, talking to people they're traveling with. Some are even trying to catch some sleep. Now, the captions have been used to describe the clothes that these women are wearing, from skirts to saris. And these are women who had no clue that they are being clicked and that their pictures are being part of an Insta account now. Now, mobility brings exposure, freedom, and also the power of options for women. And mobility is extremely important, specifically for women, because it helps us to be independent, it helps us to earn and also understand the world better. But why should privacy of women, their dignity, be compromised for something as basic as public transport that needs to be safe at all hours? Well, the content that we are talking about in Bengaluru has since then been removed and a case is now registered against the accused. Now, this incident underscores growing concerns about women's safety when it comes to public spaces and also the need for stronger surveillance, enforcement and also public awareness when it comes to public transport. But this is not just about Bengaluru. In fact, earlier this year, a man was caught red-handed clicking pictures of women in Nagpur Metro. He was caught by the crowd and handed over to the police, but he was made to pay just 500 rupees and let go after he wrote a written apology. 2 years ago, the Delhi Police Metro Wing in fact sought public help to identify the man who in a viral video was seen masturbating while sitting on a seat in Delhi Metro. Last year, in fact, a user on Reddit explained how a man was secretly clicking pictures of women to send it to a group chat, and he had said, "When is this creepiness going to stop?" 5 months ago, a woman traveling in Chennai local train shared her experience of how she felt unsafe and uneasy by men around her. She in fact said that she was being mentally undressed by the male passengers who were sitting around her. So the personal safety burden for women taking public transport in this country is huge, and that is what we discuss tonight. Before I get in my guests, here's a report.
Unsuspecting women taking the metro in Bengaluru, being stalked and preyed on by voyeurs. An Instagram account has triggered an uproar after it emerged that the user had been secretly recording women passengers on Namma Bengaluru metro trains without their consent and uploading them online. The Bengaluru police has registered a case and has promised that the accused will be traced and arrested.
A case of voyerism and Information Technology Act has been booked in Bengaluru police station, following which investigation is underway to trace the accused, the page handler, as well as the person who may have shot the video. Very soon some progress will be seen, and city police will leave no stone unturned to trace the accused and creating a safer environment for women citizens.
The account Bengaluru at Metro Chicks has 5,605 followers. Some of the videos carry texts on them, such as "Finding beautiful girls on Namma Metro," and have disturbing clips of women being followed and filmed without their knowledge. A user who came across the account shared it on X and tagged Bengaluru police, urging them to take action against the pervert.
Police have written to Meta and other social media platforms where they found evidence of these pictures being put out, and based on the information that these platforms give the police, they will try and trace who this individual is. They're of course also here bringing in their cyber teams to help, because there is of course a particular IP addresses through which photos and videos are uploaded. So using that technology as well, the police will try to ascertain which location were these pictures shared from. If you look at the content that was really shared. Now, of course, all the pictures have been deleted from that particular page, but most of the photos and videos were from the Bengaluru metro. This individual seems to have captured them while he was boarding the train, while inside the train, getting off, and they're obscene pictures. And clearly, in most of the cases, that there is no consent taken from the people, and that's where the police believe that this was a fit case for an FIR to be registered. And as of now, the FIR is on an unknown individual. As soon as the police find out who this individual was, they'll try to ascertain why he was doing this, if he has done similar things in the past, if he has other accounts, if this was being shared on other social media platforms, or was it just Instagram.
Voyeurism was not a separate crime in India until 2013. Based on the recommendations of Justice J.S. Verma Committee, a new clause, 354C, was introduced to the Indian Penal Code. Post the 2012 Nirbhay rape incident, the Commission agreed that there should be a stricter penalty for sexual offences of all kinds and decided that voyeurism should carry a maximum sentence of 7 years in prison. The disturbing instances raise big questions about women's safety and privacy in public transport. An NDTV Bureau Report.
Okay, joining us now is Suraj Nair, who's a complainant. We also have N.S. Napinai, who is a founder of Cyber Sati, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court. We have Lavina Rangel, who's a women's rights activist, Karnataka, and Advocate Beena Pillai, lawyer, High Court of Karnataka. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. I would want to go to Suraj Nair first. Suraj, first of all, congratulations, and also thank you for pointing this out on social media, because I was looking at your tweets, and you are one of those users who tagged the right kind of people because you wanted this matter to get attention. Why did you feel the need to call out this account? And also, when did you understand that this is a person who's trying to completely violate the privacy of hundreds of women who take Bengaluru metro to go to work or even go anywhere? When did you first feel the need, and how did you sort of tag the right kind of people to ensure that this gets attention?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me. So this actually, I did not find it. My wife was who just came across this, and she just sent it to me, telling, just check this out. This is sounding like looking very bad. And she told, like, can you just tweet or like send it to someone who can do it? And I just thought, yeah, my wife takes metro, my family members take metro. There are lots of friends who take metro. And I just thought, like, maybe like one day it can be them who will be in those videos in these kind of pages. So I decided I'll just tweet it, and I know like maybe like just tagging police or someone might not amplify. So I actively follow a few Bangalore journalists who regularly post videos. So I just tagged them asking, like, please amplify, like this is very creepy and dangerous for women travelers who take metro regularly. I felt like this is very wrong. Someone needs to catch these people and get them punished. Like, should not let them go easily. So I just tagged the right people, asked them to amplify, and thankfully it reached the police. And I hope they are caught very soon.
Lavina Rangel, how do you look at this issue, ma'am? Because I was looking at plenty of these matters that get reported from across the country. Women who are just, traveling, taking the metro for their daily work or whatever, and they get clicked, and they're all part of this account. So this is clearly a shocker. And when we talk about public transport and public transport being a means of mobility and freedom for women, this is so important. This is so basic. What is it about public safety for women that we're not able to get here as a society, specifically when incidents like this surface?
Thank you, Vasudha, for having me. And you rightly said, this is something that we have to do as a society. It's not something that someone else has to do, where we normally point out and said, whose fault is it, or who's going to get involved in this? Because these are all sticky situations. The basic or the crux of the matter is, where our society doesn't understand agency. They don't understand consent. We have this in movies, and we have this, in all the conversations that are happening. But the problem is that people don't understand that a woman who's walking in front is an individual in her own right. They consider her as an object, someone who's objectified, someone who can be just, taken around and like in this particular situation, taken pictures of. You don't understand where that boundary lies. You don't understand that that individual has a personal boundary where there is a violation when consent is not taken. Some people, in fact, when I heard and they said, oh, it's just a picture. It's not just a picture. This is a very serious issue, which in many circles we also call it the rape culture pyramid. It starts as simple jokes. It starts as jokes as people don't say anything. But then it grows on when people don't actually actively participate and take a stand like how Suraj did just now. It's the conversation needs to happen, but conversation needs to move on to action.
Right.
And here it is just that. It is that action from bystanders, action from the government, action from the police. It's just that people don't realize at this point how serious it is to just not consider another human being and their safety and their just being present in society at this point in time.
Ms. Napine, I was just going through Twitter and Reddit for some more understanding of this issue, and there was this one particular post about a similar incident that took place in Delhi last year. There's this user that says, so with me, this guy entered, he seemed like a nice guy, good clothes, shoes, etc. At Patel Chowk, two girls entered, they sat in front of us, and this man started taking their pictures. He started clicking random pictures of these women without telling them, and on thinking that somebody had noticed, he instantly changed the app. And he seemed like a nice guy is what this guy kept saying. I mean, what makes people even detect and prevent voyeurism in real time? Because, law clearly looks at it as a separate crime, but there is no understanding of that in society.
Yes. Vasudha, the bad news first. The provision that was introduced under the title voyeurism does not cover these kind of instances. It specifically refers to voyeuristic activities where you have a reasonable expectation of privacy, and it talks about privacy in a private space and when you're doing a private act, etc. So the first thing we may have to do is relook what we understand as voyeurism, and it may already be time for us to rethink the provision which was 354C, which is captured under BNS, also under 77. But having said that, the good news is that there are enough provisions in law which make it a criminal offense. So you're violating somebody's privacy. So intrusion of someone's privacy to outrage their modesty is a separate offense carrying a minimum and a maximum sentence. You also can be hauled up for sexual harassment if the provisions subtext is part of what you did.
Right.
And the police also talked about having invoked IT Act.
Right.
I'm assuming they would have invoked the provision for obscenity, etc. Right. Why I'm going into all these legal aspects is the first need for law is to be a deterrent. So you need a very clear law that needs to lay down that clicking pictures, why only of women, I would say of any person without their consent in a public space, is a violation of their privacy and will entail certain penalties or punishments.
Right.
Then sharing that photo on any medium without their consent should be a separate offense, as it is in 66C for privacy. Right. So we need to start thinking beyond private parts or privacy of only certain parts of our body, but of our entirety.
Yeah. Looking at privacy from patriarchal point of view, that's very well said. Beena Pillai, Napine ma'am also explained to us the importance of digital, consequences of digital voyeurism. But how do we also encourage bystanders, co-passengers to raise their voice when it comes to, a passenger just clicking random pictures? How do we also hold social media platforms more accountable for hosting content which is completely non-consensual?
See, it's the social media platforms, as you said, these are intermediaries actually. We have intermediaries rules, and the rule says that they have to conduct their part of due diligence before putting all these things, publishing all these pictures. Have they done their part of due diligence? That's what I'm wondering here. This particular Instagram, they have around 5,500 and more than followers, and that itself shows that it was there for a long period of time. And, continuously someone is posting photos. It's not just a photo or a picture of someone, and it is taken in a metro. where there are security cameras and all those things are there. And I had a chance of going through the FIR. It is not under section 77. I have seen that it is booked under section 78 too. It is mere stalking. There are clear provisions of harassment against women, like section 78, 79, and section other 75 also. They have just put them under section 78 too. That means even the police authorities have also not taken this seriously. They have also considered it as just a picture which is published somewhere.
Right. Okay.
And book someone under stalking, mere stalking.
Right. Suraj, closing remarks from you. One thing that I really found heartening was a kind of traction that you got, not just from the police, but also from users in the internet. Is that something that you were happy with? And clearly that does not undermine the issue that you raised. But clearly the fact that the civil society in Bengaluru and Karnataka has had a very strong society there, was that something that you were happy about?
Yes, I did not expect it to become viral or to reach so many people, but then I was happy that yeah, everybody took note of it, and I like everybody is on the same page and like thinking alike that everybody wants someone to take punishment, and because we see this regularly, somebody doing something, police catches them, we see it on social media, but then we don't see what action is taken against them. They are out again and they repeat the same thing. People are going like they're getting less they're not getting scared of the law anymore.
Right.
So I think like there should be a much stricter punishment, and I'm happy it reached a lot of people, and like people are aware that there are things happening on metro also, not just on roads or somewhere in a private space, but it's a public space where you can just anybody can do something and people have to be careful. So I hope everybody like are careful now and raises alarm if somebody sees someone filming without consent
Absolutely.
and takes an action.
Right. Very well, sir. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. From physical fights to reel-making videos, Metro in India has seen it all. But metro systems need to enhance women's safety and comfort. CCTVs, helplines aren't just enough, because the important thing is also to ensure women feel safe, and that needs to be the biggest priority when it comes to authorities and also metro services.